How's it going, everybody? It's Warren, and today is the day, Avengers Endgame's official worldwide release. I know there are a couple of countries that got it a few days ago. I believe the Netherlands and Australia got it yesterday, but the official worldwide release is today. And I'm super excited. I see the movie in just a few hours, and before I go in, I want to talk about what I expect to happen and see in Avengers Endgame. I know a lot of you have been asking me what I think is going to happen, what I predict will happen. So just for fun, just messing around, I'm going to talk about what I think is going to happen in the movie. If there are any spoilers in this video, it is not intentional. I have not seen the movie, I have not looked at the leaked footage, and I am assuming that basically a lot of what I say is going to be incorrect. Just because I've heard that this movie has a lot of things in it that you don't expect to see. So this is purely me speculating and going off what I know from the comics and what I've known from everything that we've gotten this past year. So I believe the story is going to start off making some sort of a flashback to Avengers Infinity War where Thanos performed the snap. And then I think it's going to go to Tony and Nebula, and I think they're going to do everything they can to prepare the ship, but ultimately it won't be enough. This leads to Tony recording his message to Pepper saying that he's about to die. And then we go to the Avengers headquarters where some of the remaining heroes are regrouping. I think Agent Klein of S.H.I.E.L.D. shows up and gives them Nick Fury's pager. And then of course we know that Captain Marvel comes into the Avengers headquarters because of the post-credit scene for Captain Marvel. They explain to her who Thanos is and what he did and that Nick Fury is now gone. And I think immediately or very soon after this, they actually receive Tony Stark's message, and then Captain Marvel goes into space, finds them, and brings them back. When they get back, Tony is still very hurt, so he goes to get medical attention with Pepper. And then we go to the scene where the Avengers have managed to track down Thanos because he used the stones again. The team ultimately decides to go defeat Thanos, get the stones, and use them to snap everybody back to life. And I think everybody goes to fight Thanos with the exception of Tony Stark. And then I think one of two things could happen. The first is something that I actually don't think will be in the movie, but I think it's a path that they may have thought of going down. And that is the Infinity Gauntlet is actually permanently damaged and doesn't completely work anymore. So they go, they find Thanos, they fight him, and they actually defeat him. But before Thanos dies, he actually laughs at them. And this is something that I've actually written fan fiction about. I believe that Thanos would say something along the lines of, "And what will you do now that you've defeated me, Avengers? Do you think you've saved your world, your universe? The stones are destroyed. You can't undo my destiny. Killing me does nothing. It only sends me to my rest with my love. You have avenged nothing. Not your world, your home, your universe, your fallen. Nothing. You've failed, and my universe remains balanced." So I think Thanos would say something along those lines, and then he would die. And the Infinity Gauntlet would be damaged and the stones could not bring everybody back to life, which is where Ant-Man comes in a little bit down the road. The Avengers lose all hope until he arrives, and then they realize that they can go back in time and collect the stones from the past. But as they do this, they end up changing the future and Thanos comes back to life. So that's one way that I think they could have taken the movie, but I actually don't think they're going to go that route. What I think we'll see is the Avengers go to fight Thanos and fail. He'll defeat them, maybe even without the Infinity Gauntlet. But before they're all killed, Thor takes them all back home with the Bifrost. And they realize that they're never going to be able to get the Infinity Gauntlet from Thanos. So some of them give up and some of them keep looking for a different way to get the gauntlet from Thanos and undo the snap. But they come up with nothing, but then a little bit later down the road, Ant-Man shows up. From here, Ant-Man, Tony Stark, and Bruce Banner figure out how to use the quantum realm to time travel. And this is where the Avengers will begin to go back to different parts in time, the past and the future. I believe the Avengers will make their own Infinity Gauntlet, and I think it's going to be either Thor or Professor Hulk who wields it. Those are the only two that I can see being strong enough to wield it on their own. As they go back in time, I do think that there are certain events that they have to let play out. For example, the Battle of New York and Avengers Age of Ultron. That way Vision, Wanda, and Quicksilver are still made. However, I think they're going to find the perfect points in time to take the stones where the future is no longer affected by them taking the stones. So they'll figure out these points, and that's where they'll get the Infinity Stones. I do think that Thor will travel back to Nidavellir, and I do think that Tony Stark is going to have a Uru metal Iron Man suit. I know we see the Mark 85 suit, but I do think that he's going to get another one in Avengers Endgame. I also think Wong is going to be able to communicate with Doctor Strange and the Ancient One, and I do believe that the Avengers are going to use the Quantum Realm to go into Soul World. From here, I think they come up with a plan much like the comics. I think they'll wait for the perfect time, most likely a final battle at the end of Avengers Endgame, and Doctor Strange will bring all of the fallen heroes back. This is where we're going to see all of the heroes together in one scene taking on Thanos and his army. And this will be just like a scene from the comics in the Infinity Gauntlet saga. And this will take place on a distant planet, not Earth. I also think that by the end of the movie, we're going to see Thor wield Mjolnir again. And hopefully at some point in time, Captain wielding Mjolnir or Stormbreaker. And of course, Captain yelling, "Avengers Assemble." I do think that there is going to be a second villain in Avengers Endgame, and no, I don't think it's going to be Galactus or any other Fox character. I really don't believe that we're going to see any Fox character at all in Avengers Endgame. But I do think it could be either Kang because of time travel, or the cosmic entities. Thanos has severely changed the universe. And I bet you Eternity and some other cosmic entities probably have a problem with this. And I think we may even see the summit of the cosmic entities, just like we saw in the Infinity Gauntlet saga in the comics, where the Living Tribunal shows up for judgment against Thanos and what he has done. And my prediction on who is going to die, I think Iron Man is going to die. I keep thinking back to what the Russo brothers said about real consequences and stakes. Yes, we all love Captain America, but what happens if he dies? The woman that he loved has already passed away. However, Tony is about to get married, and maybe Pepper Potts is about to have a kid as well. Plus, he has Peter, who is like a son to him. It seems like Tony Stark has more to lose than Captain America. Plus, we would expect Captain America to sacrifice himself. I think back to the very first Avengers film where we hear the cut the wire scene, and Tony says, "I think I just cut the wire." Tony has never really been the one to sacrifice, which is exactly why I think that that's what we're going to see in Avengers Endgame. So this is what I kind of think is going to play out in Avengers Endgame. I know that it's probably not right for the most part. Again, just because everybody has been saying that everything that you think you know about this movie, you don't really know, which to me is fantastic. I may be right about a few things. Again, this was just for the fun of it, but I very much hope that I know absolutely nothing about what I'm about to see in Avengers Endgame. For those of you who have seen it already, please do not spoil it for others in the comments down below. I have been off of YouTube, off of Twitter, off of Instagram for the past couple of days. I don't want any spoilers. I'll definitely upload a spoiler-free reaction and review after the movie. And if you've seen it, be sure to record your reaction and send it to me for a chance to end up in a fan reaction video. I hope everybody gets to see Avengers Endgame soon, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.
Your head in Avengers Endgame. Hey, congratulations to your desperation to save the universe. You killed half of its population. Yeah, you did it, very nice. And all it took, you said it cost you everything while crying like a baby. Now you're at number